Okay, so let's start. So I think in the list class we have covered string. Today we are going to discuss list and list methods. Okay. Okay. Now, so what is a list? First of all, what is a list? So list is a collection of elements kept inside square bracket. Okay. So list basically is a collection of elements kept inside the square bracket. These elements can be of any type. Okay. These elements can be integer, can be float, can be complex string, even a list also you can keep inside a list, right? So list is just a collection of different data types and kept inside the square bracket. Okay. So if you want to make a such kind of collection, then you can go for the list. Okay. Now, so the next part is how you can define the list. So to define the list, you can keep any element inside this square bracket separated by comma. For example, 10 comma 10.20 comma 10 plus 20.30j comma this is a string comma this is a list again. So I will keep 10 comma 20 comma 30, right? So you can see this is a list which where you have kept all these data inside the square bracket. So this whole thing is inside the list as it is in the square bracket. So you can give a name to this. List is equal to this. Okay, so this represents a list. So if you want to check the type of this data type, so you can go and check using type function. It will return you the list type. Okay, now so this is how you can define a list. So you can whatever elements you have, you can separate it by comma and then you can keep it inside the square bracket. Now, so you remember I told you that every sequence has some properties or has some characteristics, right? Like string is a sequence, right? So few things are fixed in that. Similarly, list is also a sequence. So in this case also few things are fixed in it. Okay. So what all things? The first thing which is fixed in it is an ordered collection. It is an ordered collection of elements. Okay. Now what is the second thing? Second thing says that positive and negative indexing are allowed. Okay. Now in the string, what let's say if this is a string, so what is the element? Every character is an element. In the list, what is an element? Every element will every individual value will be an element. So 10 is one element, 10.20 is one element, and every element will be separated by comma. Okay. Now inside the list, you have positive and negative indexing. Both positive indexing starts from left hand side and 0. Negative indexing starts from right hand side and from -1. Similarly, in the list also, positive indexing will start from left hand side and from 0. So the first element is at 0 index, the next element is at 1 index, then 2, then 3, and so on. Similarly, negative indexing will start from right hand side and from -1. So the last element is at -1, this is at -1, this is at -2, this is at -3, and so on. Clear? So positive and negative indexing both are allowed. Now the third we learned that insertion order, right? Insertion order will be fixed, right? So the order in which they are inside the list, they will remain in the same order in the case of the sequence, right? Now, what is the fourth we have seen? The fourth we have seen is the basic operations, like uh, concatenation, then repetition, and membership. All these operations are allowed. And the fifth one, what we have seen, the fifth one we have seen is indexing and slicing both is allowed, right? Indexing and slicing both are allowed, right? So here list is also a sequence. These all things fit into for the list also. Okay. So all these things are allowed for in the case of list. So it is an ordered collection. If you check about this, so this is an ordered collection of the element. Yes, membership. Membership, you can check whether an element is a member of this sequence or not. Whether, for example, 10 in LST or not, it will return true or false, right? We have you know, completed the membership operator already in the operators, right? Operator class. Okay, so go and check there. So that is one. Now it is an ordered collection, so it is coming in the either increasing order of the positive and negative index or decreasing order of the positive and negative index, right? So increasing order of the positive and negative index both from left to right, and decreasing order of the positive and negative index from right to left. Okay, so it is an ordered collection. We have seen also that positive and negative indexing both are allowed here. Insertion order will be fixed, so the order in which they are entered, they will be always at the same order. So this 10 will be at 0th index, 10.20 will be at 1 index, this will be at -1 index, right? So this order will always be fixed. Now basic operation like concatenation and repetition will be allowed. So let's say we have this list, I will take another list, lst1 is equal to, I will take 100, 200, 300, and if I want to do the concatenation of this, so I can simply write LST plus LST1. Here you can see that I'm concatenating two sequences, and both sequences are of similar type, list type. You cannot take list is a collection of different kind of elements. Array is a collection of similar kind of element, right? In the array you can take only let's say if you want an int array, you can take only integer element, right? But in the list you can take any kind of element, right? So LST and LST1. Okay, so LST and LST1 are what? These all are the sequences and are of similar type. So if we are going to concatenate, and if we will run this, yes, we have arrays in Python. Yes, we have arrays in Python. Okay, if we will run this, so we will get this output. Clear? So you can see this, both the lists are combined together. Okay, fine. Now let's say if we will do the repetition, LST into 3. Okay, so here in the concatenation, both the operands should be of similar type. We have taken list type. In the repetition operation, one operand should be sequent and the other operand should be an integer type, right? So it will repeat 3 times. You can see it has repeated this list sequence 3 times. Okay, so this repetition operation is also allowed, and even membership is also allowed. So you can check whether a element is part of this sequence or not. For example, you can check 10, 20, 30 is part of this sequence or not, right? So you can check 10 this in LST, so it will return true. It is available. For example, if you will check whether this 40 is this list is available, so it is not available, so it will give you false. Okay, fine. So these basic operations are allowed, and indexing and slicing are also allowed. So if you want to access a single element from the list, then you can simply go ahead and use indexing LST, and with the square bracket you can pass the index of the element which you want to access. So if you want to access last element, you can give here -1, LST of -1 will always give you the last element. Okay, similarly, let's say if you want to access the first element, you can give LST1 of 0, right? So it will give you the first element, right? Clear? LST. Okay, so it will give you 10. Now let's say if I will give, now I want to slice, let's say I want to slice these 2 elements out of this, right? So I want to slice from here 0, 1, 2. I want to slice from 2 LST, so I'll say 2 colon, I want to slice till Python, right? So what is the index of this element? Index of this element is 3, so I'll give +1. So here I will give 4. Okay, so once you'll give 4, so it will take 2 and 3 both. No, see, in this previously we have taken LST1, right? So previous value it was taking. So we have run initially, right? Before, when I commented it, already LST1 was there in the memory. Okay, so it was LST1 took from there. Okay, fine. Okay, so if I will run this, so it will give you 2 colon 4, which is this. Okay, fine. So we have sliced also, so we can do the slicing operation also in the list. Okay. So these all are the basic, you can say, characteristic or properties of a sequence. Now, the next part is, we can see here the list is a collection of different kind of elements. So I can say that list may have the similar element, collection of similar element, or list may have the collection of different element also. Okay. So if you want to keep only integer type, you can use list, and you can keep only integer type, but it is not fixed. You should take only integer type only. So in the list you can take any kind of data. Okay, fine. And the next one is, so the next property we will see is about list. So the basic operation we have seen. Now we'll see that how we can create a list. Okay. Okay. Now we will see how we can create a list. So there are different ways of creating a list. So for example, let's say if you already know the elements, right? So you can take one variable lst is equal to, you can write these elements separated by comma. If you know the elements already in advance, so you can write these elements separated by comma inside the square bracket. So this way you can create a list. The another way of creating the list is, there is a list function. Okay. So using this list function, you can create a list. So inside the list function, you can pass a sequence. Remember, list function always takes a sequence. So you can pass, let's say if I pass a string, okay, so it will convert this string into the list. So every element inside this string will become an element of the list. Every element of this string will become the element of the list. So if I will print lst here, so you will see that it is giving me this list. Okay. So here, what we can see, every element of this sequence has become the element of this list, right? Similarly, you can have lst is equal to list of, we have seen this already, range 10, right? So range 10 has 10 elements, 0 to 9. So if you are passing that sequence inside list, so every element inside this range object will become the element of this list. So 0 to 9 will become the element of this list. Okay, so if you print lst, so it will print this list. Okay, 0 to 9. Clear? Okay. You may pass any other sequence also. So you can pass a tuple, you can pass byte array, anything. Okay. Now, this list function you can use for typecasting as well. Like in input function, we have used int, float, and complex or string. Similarly, you can use, let's say if you want to take a list from the user, right? So you can say input underscore lst is equal to input, and you may ask the user to enter a list. So when user will enter a list, it will get converted into the string. So you want this to be converted to be list type. So you will do the typecasting here, list type. Now whatever data user will enter, it will be converted into the list type. Okay. So for example, let's say if I will enter, I will first check inp underscore lst. Okay. Let's say if I will try to enter a string python. If I'll enter this, so you have got this list, right? Okay. Now let's say if I'll run this code again, and if I'll enter a number 10. So if I'm entering it, so 1 and 0 has become the element of this list, right? So 10 means 1 0 you have entered, and 1 0 has converted into the string type. Now if it is a string, so 1 and 0 both are in quotation, so every element of the string will become the element of the list. Similarly here, 1 and 0 has become the element of this list. Okay, clear? So finally this list will convert everything into the list type. Okay, fine. Is this clear? Okay. Okay, no, what's okay? So Doris, let me know what is not clear. Mithunji, 10 as a single element. Okay, you can pass directly. Let's say if you want that 10 to be list type, then you can pass directly here. So this element also you can pass. You can pass square bracket 10, and if you enter this, no, not this. 1 minute. you can do one thing here. You can directly use split function on the string. Okay. And you will ask the user to enter the value separated by comma. Okay. Now, whatever value user will enter, so let's say 10 space 20. So 10 and 20 will become two elements, right? And then that will be passed as a list object. You can do like this. So instead of doing this, in that case, you have to do like this. Okay. So if you want the list, so you have to do it like this. 10 only as the element. So you will run this code again. What happened? Sorry, not comma, should be space. Space. So I will enter the value. Let me check. Can I do like this? Okay. Yeah. So I'll enter 10 space 20. Now you are getting 10 and 20 as an element of the list, right? Now, if you want this 10 to be an integer type, then you can do the conversion. And one more thing, let's say if you just want to enter 10, so 10 space, and that's it. So 10 will become the element of this list. Okay, Mithun. Now this 10 is a string type, so you have to convert this back. If you want to convert it to int, then that you can do for using list comprehension. That is a different part. We will do it later. Okay. Okay, is it clear? Doris, what is this? I didn't understood your question. Why? What you didn't understand? The value must be separated by comma on entry. Yes, see here in the case, see, these are the different ways of creating a list. One is LST. If you have the element, if you know the element already, you can keep it inside the square bracket. That will create a list. If let's say now there is another way of creating a list is using list function. Inside the list function, you can pass any sequence. As of now, I have passed a string. So when you are passing the string, so what this list function will do, this list function will convert this string into the list. So how it will be converted? Every element inside this string will become an element of the list, and then finally a list will be returned with the square bracket, and that will be the LST. So if you are printing, you are getting like this. Okay. So every element of this string has become the element of this list. Okay. Now you can pass. So what I said, inside this list function, you can pass any sequence. So I am passing string, which is a sequence. You can pass a range function also. So I'm passing a range with 10 values. So starting from 0 to 9, this range creates a sequence. This is also a sequence, right? Internally, it is a sequence, right? Sequence of numbers 0 to 9. So when you are passing to the list, so this sequence has 10 elements starting from 0 to 9. So all these elements are created in the form of the sequence separated by comma. All the elements are there inside the list. So this list has converted this range into the list object. Okay. Now what you can do, you can use input function also to take the element from the user. If you want to take like this, so you can use split function, or if you want the anything which user will enter, you want that to be converted into list, or you want to do the typecasting, then you can use list function on top of input function. Okay, this way also you can do. Okay, so these are the different ways you can create a list. Okay, whether we can convert string into number inside the list, String into number. Yes, you can convert string into number inside the list. lst1 is equal to list Python. Yes, yes, it will create a list of, it will create this list. Okay, it will create this list. No, you should not get any error. See, why you are going to Dinesh? Why you are going to NumPy? Are we into NumPy? Are we discussing about NumPy, Dinesh? Then, so if you know something, keep it with you. Don't get confused. Don't confuse others. Okay. There are a lot of people who don't know anything about Python or programming. So don't confuse others. They will now they will think, what is this NumPy? And even you are sending it to everyone. Send it to me personally, no? Okay. Yeah, so this should not give you the error. lst1 is equal to list of Python. If you're trying with other module like NumPy and all, then it will give you the error. So forget about that. Simply give this Python to the list function. Okay, it will convert it. It should not give you any error. Okay. Okay, just give this Python string to the list. Anything, any sequence you can pass to the list function, it will convert. Remember, list function, tuple function takes only sequence. It won't take anything else. Okay. If you will, let's say if you will pass a number here. Let's say if I'll pass a number here. Okay, 10. Then in that case, it is not taking, int object is not iterable. Okay, so it will not take any integer object or float object or object which is not a sequence. Okay, so list function will not take any object which is not a sequence. Okay, fine. So list function always takes a sequence. Clear? I hope it is clear to everyone. Any question from anyone? Everyone, please confirm any question. Okay. Okay. Now we have seen that we can okay, we have seen that we can we can pass the sequence. Yeah, I think we missed one thing here. So we can use this sequence and we can run the for loop directly here, right? Tab. Right, so it can be passed as sequence to for loop, right? So in the for loop, in the place of sequence, you can pass this list also, right? Like we have passed the string, we can pass this list also, right? We have seen that how you can access the every element of the string. Similarly, if you want to access every element of a list, then you can pass this list as a sequence. So for I in, let's say if I will write this list itself, I will write this list. Okay, so you can access the direct all the elements here. Now you can print I. You can do any operation. In fact, you can print I, and if you run this code, you will get all the values here. Okay, so you can pass the list in the for loop also. Okay, directly you can run the for loop basically over the sequence and over the list as well. Okay, so these all are the different properties of the list. Now we will come to the different functions available for list. Okay, so let's see what all functions are available. Okay, so the first function which is available is len function. Okay, so len function is available for all the sequences, even inside. Let's say you have lst is equal to all these values, right? So if you want to check the length, you can simply use length of lst and it will give you the total number of element available in this list. So total number of element available is 5 element. Okay, I have I haven't mentioned any array. Oh, okay. List is equal to. It should not give. What error exactly you are getting? Can you please let me know? Paste the error. type of error. Oh, you are saying that you have executed this and it is giving you this error. Okay. No, no, you don't need to fix anything. It should give, no, it should, why it is, it will give you the error. Check if you are missing some bracket or extra bracket you have given anything. If I will copy and paste it here. See, this is not identifying somewhere, if you have copied and pasted it from somewhere, it was not identifying earlier. Now it is identifying it as a string. So now if I will run this code, it is not giving any error, right? So if I take a list, it is giving me the list. Now if I will do the previous one, this, right? So if I am running this, I am getting this invalid syntax. I'm not getting that error. I don't know if you have imported something or something extra you have done. I don't know. Need to check the whole part. Okay. Yeah, we'll check this part later. Okay. So this is the list. This is the len function. Okay. Okay. Now next function is count. So count function is available in the case of list. Also, count function was available in the case of string. So count function is available for list. So invent count function is available for all the sequence. Okay. So here you can check count. Now count function returns that how many times a particular element is repeating inside a list. So LST, let's say you have LST is equal to 10 comma 20 comma 10 comma 100 comma 10 comma 10 comma 20 comma 20 comma 30 and again comma 10, right? So if I want to check that in this list how many times 10 is appearing, right? So lst.count you can directly do, and inside count method you can pass the element which you want to check. Okay, so it will give you 4 times total 10 is appearing. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. Remember, this is nested list. It will not count this 10. It will only count this the 10 which is available, in this list. Okay, not inside this nested list. Okay, fine. So it will not count the 10 inside this list. Okay, it will count only these 10s. Okay, outside of this list. Okay, fine. So this is about count method in list. The next, let me see what else we have. So print dir. All these methods are available inside this. We are not going to discuss all these methods. All these methods. We'll discuss just these methods. Okay. All these methods we are going to discuss. Okay. So in this we have discussed count method. So count is clear. Now we will discuss how we can add an element inside a list, right? So there is a append method, there is a insert method, and there is a extend method. These 3 methods are used to add one element inside a list. Okay. So adding an element inside a list, we are going to discuss all these methods. Okay. So let's see first how you can add. So let's say you have a list, lst is equal to 10 comma 20 comma 30. This is a list and you want to add one more element at the end. Okay, at the end. So what you will do, you will do print lst dot append and you will add the element here. Yes, dir is directory. Dir tells you that in current directory what all functions are available to you. So we are checking with dir of list, in the list object what all methods are there or what all functions are there for us to use. Okay, so you can check on any object. Okay, now here I will append 100. So if I will write append 100, so 100 will get appended inside this list. So append means, append, I think we have already discussed, append method will always append or add the element at the end, right? Okay, so it will add the element at the end, but remember append method returns none. Okay, if you will run this code, you are getting none here. You are printing only this statement, there is no print statement apart from this. So if you are printing this, you are getting none. So if you want to check whether this element is appended inside the list or not, so you have to print LST again. Now what this append method is, why it is printing none? Because this, see, the append method which is written internally, it returns nothing, so that's why it is returning none. So if you are trying to print this lst.append, it will return none. Okay, so if you want to check whether these elements is added or not, so you need to check in the same list whether it is appended or not. So you have to print lst instead of lst.append. Okay, remember this particular property. Okay, now the next method is index. So index method also adds one element at a particular position. Okay, let's say you have this list lst. If you will check this, there are 4 elements currently, 10, 20, 30 and 100. I want to add one element at, yes, this code will execute and it will add the value also. Yes, Dinesh, it will print command will also, the code will execute and add the value. Correct, it will execute and add the value. Okay, now what I want to do, I want to add one element at a particular index. So I will be using similarly print lst dot index. Okay, in which list you want to add? You want to add in this list, so you have written lst dot index, and first you will write the position where you want to add. So I will write, I want to add 0, 1 at second position I want to enter. So I will write the index first, comma, and the value which you want to enter. So I want to add this value 10, 20, 30. Okay, this list I want to add. Okay, so if I will run this code, some error. Let me check the syntax. Not index, I think insert method. Sorry, I mistaken by the, no, not index, insert. Sorry, yes, insert method, not index. Index method does something different. Insert method. Okay, so insert method is used to, insert method is used to add the value at a particular position. Okay, not index. Insert. What index method does? Index method is similar as index method in the string. Okay, so insert method will insert this element at this position. Okay, so now if I will run this code, so it is going to give none. So insert method also returns none. But if you will check lst, so since it is not giving the error, any error, so lst list is updated. So if you will check in the second position, this list is added, right? So basically insert method is used to insert one value at a specified position. How you can do? So using insert method, first you need to pass one index, and then the element which you want to add, you have to pass as the second argument of the insert method. Okay, so insert method takes 2 arguments, and this insert method also returns none. Okay, so if you are printing this, it is returning none. But if you want to check whether this element is added at this position or not, so you can print lst and it will show you the output like this. Okay, clear? Is it clear for everyone? Okay, next we have extend. So what, this is extend. Okay, so now what extend does? So let's say you have lst. I will take one more, lst1 is equal to 100, 200, 300, right? This is lst1. Now, if you remember, we have done the concatenation lst plus lst1. If you do this, so lst plus lst1 will create a new list object, and this lst and lst1 will be combined, right, together. So if you will run this, you will get lst and lst1 which are combined together, and it will create a new object. So if you will check lst, LST is still the previous one, and LST1 is also the previous one. Okay, if you will run this, LST and LST1 are previous one. Okay, LST is not changed and LST1 is also not changed. But if you are checking LST plus LST1, it is updated with both combined together, but it is creating a new list object, right? But extend object does the same as LST plus LST1, but it will extend into a list which is already existing. For example, if you want to extend LST1, if you want to extend LST1 into LST, then how you can extend it? So you will write LST dot extend LST1. Okay, so if you want to extend LST1 into LST, then you will write LST dot extend LST1. Means LST1 should be extended into LST. What does it mean? So all these elements of LST1 will get appended into LST. Okay, all these elements of LST1 will get appended into LST. So if you will check LST, it will be updated with all the element of LST1 into LST, but LST1 will be as it is. LST1 will not be changed. Okay, clear? You can see LST is this, which is updated with the LST1, and LST1 is this without any update. I hope it is clear. Extend method. Everyone, is it clear? Extend method. Okay. Okay. So these all are the three methods to add one element in the list. Okay. Now, the next method we will use is to remove the element. Pop and remove. Okay. So let's say if removing an element from a list. Okay. For example, let's say if I have a list, I want to remove the last element. Okay. So I can directly use print lst.pop. If you will use lst.pop, okay, so it will remove the last element from the ls list. Okay, pop method will always remove the last element from the list. So if I will run this code, you will see that it has removed the last element. Last element is what? 300, and pop method is the only method which does the operation and it returns a result. Okay, other method were returning what? None, right? Clear? But this pop method does this operation and it returns a value which value it has removed. Okay, so pop method will always return the value which it has removed. Okay, and it will always remove the last element. So basically what you can do, so if you are removing any element, then you can assign it to any value. Let's say I can write removed element is equal to lst.pop. Okay, and if you want to do any operation with this element or with this value, you can do that operation. So you can assign this to a variable. Okay, so remember lst.pop will always remove the element from the last. Okay, so if I will run this code, you can see I have commented lst also. Yes, so it has removed 10, 20, 30. Okay, see here it has removed 10. So since we are not printing it, it is not printing anything. Okay, so if you want to print removed element, you can print here rem underscore element. So first it will print 10 because first it is removing 10 from this list, and then we are again using lst.pop and we are printing it. So it is removing this element. So if you want to check what is the final list after removing this element, lst, and it will give you these elements are there in the list. Okay, I hope pop is clear. Everyone, pop is clear. Okay, now the next we have is remove. Next method we have is remove. Okay, so if you want to remove an element, okay, you know the element, which element you want to remove, so you can directly use the remove function. For example, if I will use lst dot remove, so inside, in this case, you have to mention the element, which element you want to remove. Let's say if I want to remove 10, okay, so I will mention 10. Okay, and if I will run this code, so this remove also gives you none. Okay, so if you want to check which element it has removed, So LST, if you will check, so 10 has been removed from the left hand side. So if you have multiple element, it will start removing from the left hand side. Okay. So again, if you run this code, lst.remove after this. So again, it will remove, Control C. It will remove the next 10 after this. So if you will run this code, you will see that again it has removed 10 from here, right? So it will always start removing from the left hand side. Remove will remove only one element, not all the existence of 10, but only one existence of 10 from the extreme left hand side. Okay. Now, let's say if you want to remove this, then you can specify this element inside this remove function. Okay. So remove function is used if you know that which element you want to remove, so you can pass that element as an argument to the remove function. It will be removed. Okay. So remove function is also clear. Pop and removed we have completed. Now the next, can we remove from middle? Yes, you can remove from anywhere. So if you know the element, middle means to say if you want to remove this 10 specifically, out of all this 10, if you want to remove this 10, what pop remove? Pop removes always the last element from the list. Always the last element, okay, from right hand side. And if you want to, let's say you have multiple, if you have multiple 10 values inside this, and if you want to remove only this 10, then with remove it is not possible, right? Or with the pop also not possible, because remove will remove the first occurrence from left hand side. Pop will remove the first occurrence of from pop will remove only the last element, right? You don't have. What you can do, you can get the index, at what index you want to remove, and then you can probably iterate through that index, and then you can remove that element from there. Okay, so you can do that way. That is a different process. Now next we will see what is clear. So if you want to clear a list, for example, if you want to remove all the elements from the list, you can use lst.clear. Okay, so this will clear the list. All the elements from the list will be cleared. So if you will check lst, it will be an empty list. Okay, clear. And this clear method also returns none. Okay, so these all are the method to remove the element from a list. Okay. Now, the next method we will see is index. So index method, what it does, we know already in the from the string. What index returns? Index returns the position for which for whatever element you are looking for, right? So for example, if I will write, you have my LST or LST, right? LST dot index. You are looking for an element. For example, you are looking for this list 10, 20, 30. So index method will always return what? It will return the position, the first occurrence of this element inside the list, right? Like the first occurrence of this element inside the string, similarly, the first occurrence of this element inside the list. So if you will run this code, it will give you the index 5. It doesn't return null, it returns the index, okay? Remember, index method returns the index of the element which you are looking for inside the list, okay? So index is also done. Now, reverse method. So reverse method used to reverse a list, okay? So let's say if you want to reverse this list, LST. So you can simply use LST dot reverse, okay? LST dot reverse. Now in this case, this reverse method also returns none, but if you want to check whether it is reversed or not, so you can print LST and you can see the values are reversed. This list is this 10, 20, 30 is at -2, but here you can see it has been reversed, okay? And this reverse function is also returning none object, okay? Clear? Reverse function, reverse method. Fine. Now the next we will see is sorting. Okay, so if I will check sorting, so here if I want to sort this list, how I can use sort? So sort is by default in the ascending order, means lower to smaller value. Okay, so print, if I will check lst dot sort, so by default it will give you in the ascending order, it will return none. So if you want to check whether it has been sorted or not, you can print lst and you can check. What is this? Is not supported? Yeah. So you have to, yes, correct. So it is not possible in this case. You have to check only integers. Okay. Correct. So internally, what it does, internally it uses comparison value, and you know, comparison operator doesn't work with different data types, right? So if you have the number, then only you can compares, right? You can compare a number with a different number, right? So here this comparison will not happen, right? If you have a list, let's say multiple list inside a list, then you can compare that list. But if you have the number, then all the elements should be number, right? Now here, if you will compare lst.sort, so now it will sort it, and you can see this element has been sorted. The biggest element at the end and the lowest element is on the left hand side. Now float also will not take. No, float will take. Let's say if I will take, for example, I will take here, comma, 200, comma, 20, comma. So float and int comparison happens, right? So it won't give you any error. Okay. Fine. Okay. Now, so this is sorting. So it has been sorted in the ascending order, right? Now, if you want to change the order, you want to do it in reverse order. So you can mention one attribute of the sort, dot sort. I will comment this, and you can mention here reverse is equal to true. Reverse is equal to true. So see, when you do lst.sort, it gives you in the ascending order. But if you want in descending order, then you have to set this reverse is equal to true. So it will sort it and then it will reverse it. Okay. So now if you will print lst, you will see that it has been sorted in the descending order. Okay. Fine. So all these methods we have cleared. Now we will come to the copy method. Okay. Is this clear till here, everyone? Okay. Now we will come to the copy method. Now, so first we need to understand whether object reusability concept is there in the list or not. So let's say if I have one list, lst is equal to 10, 20, 30. And if I will have lst1 is equal to 10, 20, 30. And if I will check print id of lst and id of lst1, will it be similar or different? It will be similar, right? So ID of LST and LST1. In this case, ID any different element? No. So ID of LST and LST1 are coming different. But if you will write, let's say, if you will write LST2 is equal to LST, fine. LST2 is equal to LST. Then in this case, ID of LST and LST2 will be similar or different? LST and LST2. In this case, it will be similar. Okay, this and this. Okay. So see, when you are in the case of list, if you are creating similar list, if you are assigning this similar list to two different variable, if you are doing this way, okay, then the ID will be different. Okay, remember this. But if you are using this operation, this is called assignment operation. So if you are assigning existing list to a different variable, then the ID will be similar to this ID, okay, previous ID. Why? So this is called assignment operation, or this is also called aliasing. Aliasing means one name is already existing for this object and you are giving another name to that object. This is called aliasing. Okay, so for the same object you are giving the different names. Okay, so if you are giving, let's say if this one object is already existing, for example, so if I will say this, let's say this list object is already existing, right? And the name of this list is what? LST. Okay, the name of this list is what? LST. So LST is pointing to this, and if you have written LST1 is equal to LST, so this list is already existing and you are giving another name to this, so nothing, it will all, this will also, LST1 will also point to this. Clear? LST and LST both will point to this. So you have just given a different name to this existing object. But when you write LST2 is equal to this same object, for example, this, if you will write this, If you will write this, so in this case, what will happen? So it will create a new object. So in this case, ID will be different. Okay, fine. So if you want to create a new object, then either you can go with this operation or you can go with the copy operation also. If you want to copy and if you want to copy the same list and you want to keep the ID different. Is it clear? Is it visible? Okay. So in this case, what will happen? In this case, if you want to create a new list object, okay, if you want to create a new list object and you want to keep the ID different, then you go for the copy function. For example, if you don't want to do aliasing, you want to create a new list object, you want to keep the ID different, then you can either do this or you can use the copy function. So for example, print lst dot copy. Okay, what I will do, I will write here id. Okay, or instead of writing id, I will assign it to a different variable. I will write lst4 is equal to, okay, and lst dot copy if I will write. So basically this copy method will copy this list into lst4, and in this case id of lst and lst4 will be different. Okay, so let's check that first. I will check lst4, okay, and I will check id of lst4, id of lst4, and I will comment the others. lst1, lst2 is commented. The id of lst4, this is fine. Now let me run this. Okay, so if you will check, id of lst and lst4 are different, but the content is same. Okay, clear? So this is called the shallow copy. If you want to create a shallow copy, just a second. So if you want to create a shallow copy, then you go for the copy function. Okay, this is called the shallow copy. Shallow copy means, now why we need the shallow copy? So for example, if you have a list, okay, and you want to make some changes, but you don't want to make any changes into the original copy, then you will create a shallow copy, and in that shallow copy you will make the changes. So it will not make the changes to the existing object. So if I will make any changes to lst4, it will not reflect in lst. Okay, this is the advantage of this copy. Okay, for example, let's say I will do the assignment operation lst4 of -1 is equal to 100. Okay, 100. So if I will check lst and lst4, lst and lst4, so you will see that changes has been made only to lst but not to lst4. Okay, lst is still same, but lst4 is changed. Okay, so if you want to make any changes to the list but not want to make the changes to the existing object, then you will create this copy and then you will make the changes there. Am I clear, everyone? I do aliasing, and if I change the element in list, then yes, if you will do this operation, let's say lst2 is equal to lst is there. If I will make the changes, for example, I will do lst2 of -1 is equal to 300. Okay, and if you will check lst now, so it has been changed to lst also. Okay, clear? Fine. Okay, Omkari? Yeah. Okay, so this is the copy function. We have discussed all the functions available in list. Okay, now let's go to some problems. Okay. So let's do these problems one by one. Okay. Anyone having any question? Okay, so let's do some problem. We will do. Let's do with this. What you need to do, find the sum of all the element inside a list. Okay. Find the sum of all the element inside a list. So this is a list and you have to find the sum of all the element. Okay. List all the objects. Which objects? You can use dir to list all the method available for the list object. Okay. Let's do this problem. I'm copying and pasting. I've copied and pasted this in chat box. Okay. So this is the list. Access every element using for loop and give me the summation of all the element. Can you please try? Are you going to try? Hello? Hello? Okay, okay, yeah. So please try this, okay? Um, Sum is equal to 0 for I in list. Sum is equal to sum plus I. Sum is equal to this. Yeah, Sujit and Kani has tried. Okay. So you can try the next one. Try to multiply all the element inside a list. Same problem, same statement. Just try to multiply all the element inside the list. Those who have done this already. लोग उसको बोले वो ताकि उसका क्वेश्चन सबसे डिफरेंट हो, लोग सोचे आगे करें। भाई ये लोग दिवाली मना रहे हैं, बोल दो इन लोग को दिवाली नहीं है भाई। भाई जितना पॉल्यूशन कम हुआ था 10 दिन एक ही जितना बराबर कर दिया। एक कमेंट आएगा ना जिसमें बात नहीं बोलेगा इसको पता नहीं। Everyone has done that previous two problems, sum and multiplication. I have got few responses from Kani, Sujit, and Doris. What about others? Others have tried, or you want me to write the code? So if you have tried, then tried this last problem which I have posted. You have to find the largest number from a list. Okay. Fine. So there is the assignment on list as well. In this, you may try that. Yes, Abdul. Max function will. So max is simple, but try it with the loop also. Okay. So you can do one thing. You simply write max and pass the list inside this. So if you will write this one, for example, if you will write max and inside this pass, you will pass the list. That will give you the maximum value inside the list. Okay. So you don't have to run the loop and all. Okay. So don't run the loop if you are using max function. But without using max function, try to do it using loop. Okay. With the comparison operation. Now, once it is done, let's come to the tuple. Okay. Next, we will discuss the tuple. Okay. So now, I hope you can go through the assignment section in the list and you can download that assignment. Try to do the assignment on list. The next part we will discuss is the tuple. Tuple with the list we have seen. List is a we can do the operations like appending and then removing the element from the list. So basically, we can say list is a mutable data structure, right? The next is tuple. So tuple is also a sequence, okay, and it is similar like list, but the only difference between tuple is and tuple and list is tuple is immutable data structure, or you can say immutable sequence like list, but and all the elements in the case of tuple should be kept inside the smaller bracket. Okay, rest all properties will remain same. This is also a sequence, so it will follow these things. It will have ordered collection of element, positive and negative indexing are allowed, insertion order will be fixed, basic operation, concatenation, repetition, and membership you can do. So when you do this operation, you are going to create a new tuple object. You are not going to make the modification into the existing tuple object. You can do indexing and slicing and can be passed as a sequence to for loop. Okay, so these all things will be true in the case of tuple also. Okay, now the only difference between list and tuple is list should be kept inside the square bracket, tuple should be kept inside the small bracket, and list is mutable data structure, tuple is immutable data structure. Okay, so tuple and tuple methods. Tuple is a collection of element kept inside the small bracket. Okay, and let's say, so if you have the tuple, so like this you can do. Okay, and the corresponding function you have is tuple. So this tuple is a sequence. You can have a list inside a tuple, that is not a problem, and all these things will be true in the case of tuple as well. Okay, the main thing is tuple is immutable. You need to remember this. Okay, now the next part is concatenation, repetition, all things you can do, but if you will do this operation, you are not making any modification to the existing tuple object, rather you are creating a new tuple object. You can do indexing and slicing, whatever operation you have done here. Okay, now how you can create a tuple? So creating a tuple, let's say if you know the elements, you can directly pass it inside the small bracket, it will create a tuple. So if you will check this print type of a, so it will give you tuple. Okay, so any value which is kept inside the small bracket, that will become a tuple. So if I will write b is equal to 10, what will be the type of b? What will be the type of b, everyone? What will be the type of b? it will be a integer. Okay, it will be an integer. So if you keep any value inside the tuple, if you have only one element, remember it is only in the case of single elements. If you have only single element and you want to define it as a tuple, then after keeping it in small bracket, you need to put a comma also after this. Okay, you need to put a comma. Then only it will become a tuple. Otherwise, it will become the corresponding data type. If you have passed the integer value, it will become integer. If you keep only one single element without comma inside the small bracket, a string data, then it will become string type. Okay. So for example, if I will keep this comma, inverted comma, and without this comma, then it will become string type. But if you keep a comma after this, it will become tuple type. Okay. So remember this, if you have only single element and if you want to make a tuple, then you have to keep a comma after that. Okay. Remember this, with the single element, how you can define. Now there is a corresponding function also using tuple. So it works like similar like list. Inside this, you can pass any sequence. And in this case, what will happen? Every element of this sequence will become a tuple, will become the element of the tuple. So you can print C, you will see that it is giving you this element. Okay. These all are the elements of the tuple. I hope this tuple function, how you can create a tuple, it is clear. Yes, you can have a tuple in a list, no problem. Okay. Okay. Now we will see the functions available in the tuple. So if I will check print dir of tuple, so it is giving you all this. You can see here only two methods are available, count and index. Okay, rest all are the built-in method. Okay, only count and index is available. Okay, in the case of tuple. So if you want to count that how many times a particular element is available in the tuple, so you can use count method. For example, 10 comma 100 comma 10 comma 20 comma 10 comma 30 comma 10. So if you want to count that how many times 10 is repeating, right? So you can write a dot count, and you can pass the element, right? So it will give you the total number of times count is there in the tuple, right? So total 4 times 10 is repeating inside the tuple, right? Count method. And index method, it is similar like the index method in the string and the list, right? So if you want to find the index of a particular element, so index will always return the first occurrence of that element in the tuple. A dot count, C-O-U-N-T, a dot count, and inside this you will pass the element 10, so it will return 0 because index. So it will return 0 because 10 is coming at the 0th index only. If you want to check 100, so it will return 1, right? Clear? So count and index method is there, and there is a len function also which you can use. So len function, len of a will return you the length of the total tuple, right? So how many elements are available inside the tuple? Okay, so these all are the 3 methods available in the tuple. Why? Because you cannot modify a tuple, right? It is immutable, so you don't have other methods also, okay, available for you. Okay, fine. Clear, everyone? Okay. Now, so one more thing we need to discuss is tuple packing and tuple unpacking. Okay, packing means what? Keeping multiple things together, and unpacking means what? The things which are kept together, multiple things you unpack it, you take it out one by one. Tuple is immutable list. Yes, you can say tuple is the immutable list, Lakshmi. You can say that. When we will use tuple? So see, tuple is quite faster than the list. If you want to, if you know that the data inside the sequence is not going to change, then you use a tuple. Okay, and also you cannot use list. Let's say you can say range is also an immutable object, but range creates a sequence of consecutive numbers or in the order, right? But tuple is a collection of any element like 10, 100, 200, 20, 30, any element you can have in this order, right? In a particular order. So you can go for the tuple instead of range. Okay, Abdul? Okay. Now tuple packing and unpacking. Tuple packing means, let's say if you have multiple element, whether tuple will occupy less memory. See, I won't say it will occupy less memory, yes, but compared to list, it will take less time to access. Okay, if you want to access an element, it will take less time to access. Okay, because PVM know that if it is a tuple type, then there are no changes user is going to make. So the access time will be quite high compared to the list. Okay. Okay. Now let's say if you have multiple element and you want to pack it into a single variable, then you can go for the tuple packing. For example, you have A is equal to 10, then B is equal to 20, then C is equal to 30, and D is equal to 40. You have multiple element, you want to pack it inside a single variable, you can write T is equal to A, comma, B, comma, C, comma, D. This is called tuple packing. This part is called tuple packing. Okay. So you are packing multiple variable or multiple values into a single variable. This is called tuple packing. So now if you will check T, it will be a tuple, right? Clear? You can see all these things are the tuple. Okay. Is it clear? Tuple packing, everyone? Okay. Now what is tuple unpacking? So unpacking means you have a single variable with multiple values. Now you want to unpack every value. So what you can do? So let's say I have a tuple. T is equal to 100, 200, 300, 400, right? This is also kind of tuple packing, right? If you will check here, what is the type of T? This will also be a tuple. See, I have not kept these values inside the small bracket, but type of T will still return tuple. Why? Because you have multiple values and it is not an int type, right? Multiple values you have kept. So if you will not mention it in the small bracket, then still it will be a tuple. So if you have multiple values separated by comma and you are assigning to a single variable, then that in that case also it will become a tuple if you will not use small bracket. So small bracket is not mandatory, but yes, comma is mandatory. Okay, comma is very mandatory. Okay, so type of T. Now if you want to unpack these values, then what you do? You can simply write tuple unpacking is what? You have multiple value in a single variable, you want to pick it out with a different variable. Okay, you want to assign those different values to the different variable. So you will write A, comma, B, comma, C, comma, D is equal to T, right? So just opposite of tuple packing. And now if you will see print A, comma, B, comma, C, comma, D, print A, print B, print C, and print D. So this is tuple unpacking, right? This part is called tuple unpacking. You are unpacking the different values available in a single variable to the different variable, right? This is tuple unpacking. I hope it is clear for everyone. Tuple packing and unpacking. The only thing you need to remember is the number of element you have inside this tuple, the same number of variable you should keep here. If you will keep more than that, then it will give you the error. If you keep less than that, then it will also give you the error. For example, if I keep 3 elements, then it will give you the error. What error? Too many values to unpack. Okay. Okay. Similarly, let's say if you will keep here few extra value, comma D, comma E, then this will also give you the error. So not enough values to unpack. Okay. So you are not able to unpack. Okay. So remember this. Okay. This is about tuple packing and unpacking. Any question? Any question? No. Right. So fine then. We have done with the tuple. We are done with the list today. Go and practice. I'm not going to start any new topic because in a single day I should not burden you with a lot of topic. Go and practice list and tuples. Practice this list problems. And one more thing, I would recommend you to go ahead W3 resource. Okay. This is a good website to practice Python programming. You can go to this W3 resource and then inside this exercise section, go to Python, click on this, and inside this there are different sections available. You can go here and practice it. Okay, if you want the link, I will give you the link. So here different I will give you the contact email. I've sent you this. Okay, I've sent my email ID. Okay, so this is the link. You can go to this link and you can practice the problems from here. Okay, everyone, you can practice the problems from here. Okay, so this is the good website. like you can see list, tuple, dictionary, and all the data types related problems are there. Go and practice it from here. It is a very good website, and there are many problems here. Okay, there are many problems. You can see only in the basic there are around 150 exercise. Python basic part to 120 exercise. If you will cover this only, this two exercise 150 plus 120, most of the other problem will also be covered. Okay, so practice it from here. Okay, keep on practicing. You cannot learn any programming languages without any practice. Okay, so practice it, and tomorrow we will meet with the new topic dictionary, and we will try to cover the function. Okay, and tomorrow is going to be probably my last class, or if extra classes required, I will take one more class. Otherwise, tomorrow most likely is going to be my last class. Okay, okay everyone. So I'll end the session now. Go ahead and practice at home. This list and tuple, you have got this website also. Practice it from here. Okay. 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 So thank you everyone. We'll meet tomorrow at the same time, 8 p.m. Okay. I'm ending the session. Yeah. Bye. Operation on list. I didn't get what you are asking. Operation on list, Abdul. I didn't get what you are asking. Operation on list. Operation on list. If you are asking the exercise, this list, you can go to this list exercise. Here you can see list exercise is there, and you can see there are a lot of problems available here. You can practice it from here. Okay. Fine. Okay. Thank you everyone. Bye. Good night.